So get them likes up, family. Get them likes up.
Hello, guys. Welcome in. Hello, Heidi. Hi, Searchy. Hi, Kingdom Minded. Kingdom Minded. Hi, Robert. Welcome in. Thank you, Money Life Business, for joining. Green Gang. Thank you so much. Hello, Aaron B. Welcome in. Okay, guys. So let's just get straight to the topic. Yeah, this is a topic that kind of came up last week. Do you guys remember when we were having the conversations and some people were bringing up childhood and how mothers and fathers change their children, either for the better or for the worse, right? We don't know until they grow up. So today, this conversation is about fathers. How about the father? There was a time, I had said this once before, a long time ago, and I got pushed back for it because they said, well, how can your father be your simp? How can, I said a lot of times for girls, their father is their first simp. Their father is the first simp. Their father is the one who starts the patterns off. Hi, Linda. They're the ones who start off these bad patterns. They're the ones who train the girl how she should see men, how men should treat her. The father is the one who began this process. So I want us to delve a little bit deeper into that because there's lots to talk about here. And I want to hear from the ladies too. Have you seen one of your friends or maybe yourself that you were treated a certain way by your father, or maybe your father was kind of, when I get into the details, you'll figure out what I mean by simpish. Did you go through this as well? Or do you know someone who is this way? So let's begin. The days are getting longer. Yeah, you can tell the sun is still out here. The sun is still out. Typically, it's dark by the time we start, but yeah, days are getting longer, which I hate. I love winter. I love when the sun goes down at 2:30 in the afternoon. But oh well. C'est la vie. Okay, guys. Let me check. So I want to begin this way. Daddy was her first simp, right? So when you speak about her father being her first simp, how does he start by being the first simp? He has daddy's little princess. The princess syndrome, the over entitlement, the world is mine because of daddy syndrome, right? The I'm gonna throw myself around until daddy gives me what I want. When a girl knows that she can go to daddy and get whatever she wants, when mommy says no, when mama says no, I can always go to daddy. This is manipulation. This is the beginning of manipulative behavior. How can a father simp for his daughter? How can this happen? Oh, I understand. My pronunciation of daughter is different, okay? I will try to say daughter. I don't know, whatever. You understand what I'm saying no matter which way I say it. You understand. I can do both pronunciations, but daughter is more comfortable for me. So, you guys understand what I'm saying. Anyway, so how can it start? This is the way I want to say that it starts. When a little girl comes to daddy, when she realizes that she has daddy wrapped around her finger, yeah, it's almost like a sense of pride, yeah, to be a daddy's girl. Everybody wants to be daddy's girl. I was a daddy's girl, but I didn't have a father that was simpish to me. My father was very strict with me. He was very, we'll get into it. You guys will understand what I'm saying. So, the simp father, what a girl sees when she's young. This is the danger of women being with simps. This is the danger that comes from it. You are with a simp. You think, oh, what harm is it? It's just me and my simp. We're living our life, our beautiful simpish life. Then you end up birthing a daughter. Your daughter comes into life and she looks at daddy. Daddy is a simp for mommy. Daddy is a simp for any woman. Daddy, God forbid, they separate, and she sees that daddy is looking for attention from women. He's online. He's throwing money to random women for nothing, for pictures. Some men are out there doing money for pictures just to get a little bit of interaction because that's it. That's all that they have. Instagram, whatever. I don't know what other websites you guys have now. I don't really care. All I know is Instagram. I've heard of Tinder and all of this. Your dad is throwing money. She sees this. Daddy is a simp. But not only is he a simp for women, he's a simp for his daughter. She sees daddy as a simp. She knows she can do whatever she wants, and daddy, there's no consequences. Daddy, he's not going to care if I have actually seen cases where fathers are getting condoms or, you know what I mean, sexual equipment for their daughters so that their daughters can enjoy themselves. Where fathers are, oh, I won't even go into it, but you guys can get an idea. Use your imagination. You guys understand where I'm going with that. Fathers are treating their daughters like I want to use the P word. You guys understand what the P word is? P. God, why don't I know how to spell? Prostitution. Okay, they're treating their daughters like that, where they're happy and they're like, yes, that's my daughter. That's my daughter. She's doing great. She has a bunch of boyfriends, but that's okay because hopefully one day she'll get married. Hopefully one day she'll settle down. She's just going through a phase. It's okay. He's a simp. He's a simp because there is no consequence. There's no consequences. There's no rules. There's no care. This is a simp father. He gives the daughter whatever she wants, the daughter. She gives the daughter whatever she wants all her life. There's no consequences. And she knows, that daughter knows that I can go to daddy and I can get whatever I want. With mommy, no. But I can always go to him. Mama says no, I'll just go to daddy. What are the traits of a bad spouse in a woman? What are the bad traits that we know, that we constantly speak about? What is this person creating? What is this woman that you're creating? Because remember, when you're raising a daughter, you're not raising a little girl. You're raising a woman. You're raising someone's wife. This is how Eastern cultures look at it. When you have a baby girl, we always say you're raising a child for someone else, basically. And I know it sounds bad, but it's true. You're raising the wife of someone else. You're not raising your daughter, you're raising someone's wife. What are the signs? What are the signs of her being a bad future wife? I give you number 1, laziness. She's lazy. She doesn't care about anything. The house is filthy. She is unkempt. She doesn't care about herself. She doesn't dress up. She doesn't fix herself. You know, maybe some days she doesn't take showers. She doesn't care if there's food made. She doesn't care to serve her husband when he comes home. She's lazy. She's disrespectful. Number 2, disrespect. She has no concept of boundaries, of lines, of etiquette, noticing when to stop, knowing when to shut up, as we say. You don't know when to shut up. You just keep going and going. You're disrespectful. She's a gossiper. She loves the drama. She loves to talk about other people, talk about everyone's lives but her own. The neighbor, her best friend, the girl from work. I have to talk about everybody. Number 6, this stems from a simp father more than anything. She's a spoiled brat. She's a brat. She can't be told no. You tell her no, you might end up fighting for a week. And it might be for the smallest thing, but she wants to make sure that she knows that you've messed up by not giving her what she asked for. Maybe a $30,000 ring. She's also a party girl. She loves to party. She doesn't take anything seriously. Everything is fun. Everything is another time to, what do they call? Turn up. Turn up. Oh my, I feel weird even just saying turn up. Yes, Mother Russia in my cup. Yes, Mother Russia in my cup. Everything is a party. Everything is fun. Everything is a joke. She's also flirty. She flirts with other men. She needs to get the attention. She needs everybody's eyes on her. Wherever you guys go, you guys are walking together. Her eyes are over on the corner to make sure that the other men at the bar or somewhere else are looking to her. She wants to make sure everybody see her. She's flirty. Doesn't mean she's unfaithful, but she's flirty, which is, it can lead to unfaithfulness, as we all know. She's also greedy. She's greedy, selfish. She doesn't want to share anything with her husband. She wants everything for her. What's the saying? What's yours is mine and what's mine is mine, right? What's yours is mine and what's mine is mine. She's also bitter. There's also bitterness that comes with being a bad woman. And I think my last trait would be she has to be right. Doesn't matter what situation you guys are in. She has to have the last word. She has to be the one who's right. These are all bad traits. These are all things that men need to run from, because you marry a woman like this, even with one or two of these traits, you are you're in for a life of hell. You're in for it. So, what I want to bring back to, this type of woman did not come from anything. This comes from her growing up a certain way. She grew up possibly in this style where she had parents, or most likely a father, that adored her. He adored her. He showered her with affection all the time and adoration. Here, there's actually an article by Goldcast. You guys can check it out. And also the Washington Post has brought this up. It says, parents who shower their child with adoration, specifically fathers to daughters, just like using fear, criticism, and shame, they can all have adverse outcomes. So can too much adoration. The parenting style that focuses completely on meeting a child's needs without at times challenging them to become aware of themselves in the impact of their behaviors. So, this is like not showing the child how to have empathy. You don't show the child how to feel other people's feelings. You only teach the child that they are superior to everyone else. Because you're my child, you're superior to all other children. This is the beginning of that kind of narcissistic behavior. And I hate using the word narcissist because it's so overused and always taken out of context. But in the proper context that I'm using it, they have no empathy. They have no care for anyone else. Everything is about them. Because their father has told them that they are a little princess. You're the little princess. Nothing that you do is wrong. Everything is rainbows and clouds, and you deserve the world. No matter what you do, you deserve the world. The article then continues to say that parents who raise narcissistic girls, their love is always conditional. Now, I disagree with this. I believe that in order to raise a narcissistic girl, that the love has to be unconditional for them to become this way, where it's like, no matter what you do, it doesn't matter. You're a perfect little princess. It doesn't matter, because the way I see you is how the world will see you. And then when you grow up, you get into the real world and you realize that's not true. The next thing that they have here, now I'm sharing this article with you for a reason, because I have seen, now I've been doing this maybe like for the last 3 days. I've been going through some articles. I've been looking at what the studies showed about fathers and daughters. What about this relationship that is so beautiful? This relationship can be so beautiful, but it can also be so toxic. And there's another word that I hate. Toxic. Oh my God, he's toxic. Everything is toxic or narcissistic in today's world, correct? It's the word that everyone just learned how to use, and they're using it for everything. But What can create such a bad environment that you're raising a wife that is going to be improper? Next. How does Daddy Princess do in marriage and relationships? When she grows up, Daddy's little princess, when she grows up, how does she fare in marriage and relationships? What does she turn into? Is she, how can I say this? I already know that she's not, and you guys already know. So I'm not going to ask you this. We already know that she's not a good mate. But what are the reasons why she's not good? And how can a man know if he is marrying Daddy's little princess? When I've seen relationships where the woman, she's in a relationship, she has her husband, mind you, but she always puts her father first. Her father comes first before anyone. No matter. It doesn't matter. You're married, so what? My father comes before anyone. And putting this is mistreatment. I know this sounds like so like, oh my god, I look, I know that men aren't these soft little babies that need this coddling. I understand that. But we have to understand that men have feelings too. And I know even though men will not say everything that they're feeling, this is abusive to the men, where you put another man before him. He is putting you first in his life, but you are putting other men first, even though it is your father. When you get married, your husband should be first. That should be the first man in your life, no matter what. And if you marry Daddy's little girl, Daddy's little princess, you will never be number one. You will always be in the back burner. Just the same way as a lot of women have learned, if you marry, what is it called? Mama's boys? If you marry mama's boys, the woman is never first. It's always mama first. You know what I mean? Now, I don't know which one is more toxic, actually. I don't know which is more toxic, a mama's boy or a daddy's little princess. I don't know, because daddy's little princess, this is serious. This goes down deep, because you have to think she has been her whole life raised with a man who has told her her whole life since birth that she's this perfect little angel and nothing she does can be wrong and she deserves the world no matter what. And then you have mama's boy. Mama's boy, he doesn't have this idea of being perfect little angel, but he thinks that it's his job to make sure his mom feels like a perfect little angel. Does that make sense? He thinks it's his job to be husband for mommy. I don't know which one is worse. I don't know which one is worse. Both sound horrible. They sound awful. Robert says it's a son husband. God, it sounds, but no, Myth says both. I I think, look, I'm going to be honest. I think Daddy's Little Princess is worse, because any men out there who have been through this situation, please put in a comment what you had to go through, because I think it's worse to deal with a woman, because women can be bratty, just whiny and entitled and oh, it's just I don't know. But then who am I to say? Because right, you guys know I'm the woman hater, right? I'm the one who thinks women are worse no matter what. So who knows? I don't know. Is it both are haram? So Daddy's Little Princess, she gets married. The thing that I see is her being married, right? And her comparing her husband, her now husband, to whatever her father did for her. So if this man does not meet up to the standards of what her father did for her, then this is a problem. This is a problem. You look, you're not giving me what my daddy gave me. So at the end of the day, I can dispose of you because I can always go back to daddy. It's almost like being in a relationship, right? Almost like having a second husband. Ugh. Ugh. How can we avoid it? How can we avoid having the situation where fathers turn into the simp for their daughters? How can we prevent this? I think one of the ways that we can prevent this is always making sure that your daughter knows that there are limits to your kindness, to your giving, your not giving, what is it called? Not charity. God help me guys with the word. not charity. It's like you're giving nature, we'll figure it out eventually. But there are limits to everything. You're not just giving things for eternity and there's no limits, that she can just do whatever she wants and everything is going to be okay. We have to make these kind of boundaries, and there also has to be consequences. She has to know that there are consequences. There it is. Thank you, Aticia. Thank you. Generosity. There are limits to his generosity. There you go. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Cam. I appreciate it. Sometimes I swear, when you have five languages in your head constantly fighting for first place, it is very hard to sometimes find a certain word. So thank you, guys. There are limits to his generosity. There are boundaries. There will be consequences. This is not it up into perpetuity where you can just do what you please and I'm just sitting here as your slave, giving and giving and giving. What is the definition of a simp? The simp is a man who is desperate for the attention or adoration or love from a woman whilst not getting anything in return. So he's giving, 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 but he's not getting anything back. This is a simp. So if a father is a simp, what is the thing that he's not getting back? He's not getting respect back. He's not getting, what is it called? He's not getting consideration. He's not getting any of his needs from his daughter met, but he still give, give, give. That is a simp father. And he is creating a worse woman for it. That woman is going to go out into the world and expect all men to act like her father did. We see it. I see it all the time when you see these either talk shows. When I see even in school, we had girls. So in our high school, we had girls in our high school. These girls get cars bought for them by their father when they're really, really young. They're like barely 16 and they get a car. These girls always turned out to be the faster ones to lose their virginity. They were the fastest one to get into trouble, whether it be pregnancy. They were the fastest ones to end up either in jail or with tattoos of some sort or just in bad situations. These women were the ones who were first to do this kind of stuff. And I don't know why. I don't know if it's because of the father or is it that, what came first, the chicken or the egg? And I think it's also because there were no consequences. Everything is free. Everything is good. It doesn't matter. So you think about this and you have this little girl who's always been given everything. She takes everything for granted. She's greedy. She's selfish. She's lazy, which is one of the worst things you want in a woman. You do not want a lazy woman. You do not, for the life of you, want a lazy woman. A lazy woman brings so many more things than you would even think about. This is the reason why most Eastern men, when they're getting ready to get married, this is the main reason why Eastern people say do not marry Western women. Because we see Western women as lazy. They don't want to do anything, but they want the world given to them. They want to be treated as queens and princesses, but they don't want to move. So that is one of the main reasons. If you guys are wondering why, some people called it like a racial loyalty or something like that. That is, you know what? Most of the time, it's because of the laziness of Western women. They're too lazy. They're too entitled. Another thing is that they talk back too much. They're too disrespectful. They don't know when to be quiet. And if something happens, if the man has to actually discipline her, she runs and calls the police. Because God forbid a woman get disciplined by her husband because she's acting crazy. No. No one can touch her. You can't do anything to her because she's going to run to go to police. And then there you have police and court involved in your house. And there's payments and fines. And it's just better to not marry them. Aaron said astaghfirullah. If you guys don't know what astaghfirullah means, it means kind of like God forgive me or God forgive in Arabic. That's what it means. Astaghfirullah. Most people say that when you do something bad and you want God's forgiveness, you say astaghfirullah after you did something bad. Chantel is here. Hi, Chantel. Welcome in, girl. Welcome in. Welcome in. And so yeah, I want to open the phone line so you guys can call in. Let me see. Do I have the link here? I'm gonna see if I have the link, so you guys can feel free to call in anytime you want. Oh God, JR. Yeah, he did. Okay, so the link is there, I think. So you guys can feel free to call in. I really want to hear from women, if possible, because this topic, I know the for men, if men call in, it's mostly because I want to hear if you actually went in a relationship with a person like this before, or if you have actually seen this type of woman in your lifetime and you avoided her like the plague. Or if you're a woman, if you are a woman who was daddy's little princess or still is daddy's little princess and you think I'm wrong, you think that this is a proper way that a woman should be raised. There are people out there who think this is the way that women should be raised, because a woman should always know that men, whatever, if you're in a new relationship, if he can't do what your father does for you, then he's not the man for you. There are women who say that. Women who say, my father taught me how men should treat me. And you know what I think when I see that? Most of the time I say that's absurd. I know, I understand what you mean. I understand what you mean by it. But most of the time when you have a father, my father was home. My father, I was taught by my father how I should treat him, not how he should treat me. Does that make sense? I was taught how to serve him, how to treat him. That's my father. That was the person that I needed to obey. I needed to serve, not he needed to bring to me whatever I wanted. And another man, when he comes to me, if he can't do what my father does, well, then no. Your father is there, so you learn how to treat a man. You learn how a man's presence is. You learn how to listen to a man's authority. You learn how to respect a man. This is why your father is home. It's not so he can be your slave and bring you stuff and you, this is how men are supposed to treat you. You know, oh God. I have seen this so much in Western media. You guys just made me think about that. I have seen it so much in Western media where they say the father needs to be home so that he can teach his daughter how a man should treat her. I've seen that so much. That is such nonsense. I understand what it means. I get it. But this is not how it's supposed to go, in my view. And this is coming from a girl who was raised with her father. No. There was no, like, I wanted my father to act a certain way to me. And if he, no. And this is why I say this is like the simpish father syndrome that we have in the United States. All these men, and I don't mean to insult any Americans or Western men. Please, when you hear me, understand that this is from a view as an outsider. You can feel free to correct me if you're wrong. What I see from Western men is that they are more soft and more feminine at home, and they are sharing the roles with the women in the house. So this gives women the impression that this is how men should be, that they should be sharing the roles in the house. Sometimes mommy is tired, daddy will wash the dishes. Sometimes mommy doesn't feel like cooking. Oh, daddy will go get the pickup, the carry out. Or daddy is okay when mommy hasn't cooked the whole week. He's okay with it. Everything's okay. Or daddy said something, daddy said no, and then I went to mommy, she said yes, and I was able to do whatever I want because the parents weren't working as a team. They weren't working as a team. You had one against the other. So mommy says yes, I do whatever mommy says. And then daddy doesn't correct it. Daddy doesn't correct it because he's like, well, you know, if you asked your mommy, well, that's okay. No. I'm sorry if my internet is messing up, guys. It says that it's a little bit low. Let me know in the chat if it's messing up. But yeah, so this is what I see a lot of times in American families, Western families. I see so many men that are so soft, so effeminate, so forgiving, and everything is okay. And this is a lot of the reasons why I say your houses are so broken because of this. People think that if a man is too strong, if he's too forceful, that the house will break apart because too much strictness is too bad or something like that. I think it's the opposite. I think when a man is weaker, the house breaks up faster because there's no cement. There's no cement there to hold down the house, to say this is discipline, there's going to be rules. The children, a healthy fear of your father is healthy. That's very healthy, to have a healthy fear of your father. And it's healthy to have a healthy fear of your husband. In my opinion, when you get married, you should have a healthy fear of your husband. You should be scared that if you do something that you know is improper, that there's going to be consequences when you go home. You should know that. There's nothing wrong with that. And that, to me, is what keeps families strong. When we know that there's going to be discipline, that there's going to be consequences. Chantel says there's no structure with the passive men. Robert says that it's flipped. It's flipped the other way, where I see that the women are the leaders of the household. The women are the ones telling the husband what to do. And this goes back to Daddy's Little Princess if they had a father. If they had a father, it's mostly like that Daddy's Little Princess syndrome, where they already saw that their father was a simp to their mother. So I'm going to do the same thing to my husband. Why even have a husband at that point? That's my question. Why do you even need a husband at that point? If you're still going to do whatever you want, you're still going to live your life as you please, why do you even need a husband? What is his purpose of being there? This is taking away the purpose of a man. You're just letting him be there as what? As furniture? Lou says, back in the 70s, I believe, there used to be a show called Wait Till Your Father Gets Home. No. And you know what? Today, if you say that today, most kids will say, so what? That just means he's going to be home. He's going to be what? On the couch? Come on, guys. There has to be a change. There has to be a change. When your kids do not what is it called, like reverence, right? They don't have reverence for you. When you coming, they don't automatically get into a certain submission position. You know what I mean? My submission position was basically with my head down. I'm head down around my father, especially if I knew I had done something wrong. My head automatically went down for some reason. I'm just because it should be natural. But if you have a family and you say, wait till your daddy gets home, wait till your father gets home, and the kids are like, and it happens. It happens way too much here. And that's sad. That's sad. Wait, let me see. I know. Alicia says the look. Right. There used to be a thing called the look. There used to be a thing called the look. There used to be where daddy only said things one time. And if they weren't done that first time that he said it, he was not going to repeat himself. The next time he said it was either with a belt, a flip flop, or the back of his hand. Something was happening, but it's not going to be said 2 times. There were oh my god, there were just so many other things that used to happen, and it's just not that way anymore. Now everything is abuse, right, Isaiah? No more. There's no more. Everything is abusive now. And even with the women, that's why I said, okay, if you can't set a woman straight. So do you guys remember, even on, I believe it was either Kevin Samuels or somebody's show, I saw where they were asking, can your husband check you? Can your husband put you in line? Can your husband put you in line? And a lot of women say, I'm not a child for my husband to put me in line. Right? I think it comes from that same syndrome of, I'm a little princess. I do what I want. No one tells me what to do. You can't set me straight. I'm always right. So how can you set a person straight who's always right? It's not that I'm wrong. You need to realize that I'm right. The problem is you're not realizing that I'm right. No? So how can you set a person straight? And that's why I had even said, my husband has checked me can check me anytime he needs to or wherever he feels fit or he feels like it's fit. English is so, oh my God, I hate this language sometimes. Whenever he feels fit that he needs to do so, he can do it. Because this is why I have a husband. I don't have a husband just to pay my bills and to just stand around. Just stand around and be a statue. No, my husband is actually a husband. And things get taken care of when he gets home. Robert says the truth is women have to check themselves. Well, the problem with being checked is that sometimes you don't know when you're wrong. Sometimes you don't know when you've crossed the line. So if you don't know when you're doing something wrong, you need someone to, as I say, check you. But they want a man to take care of them like a child. Just say it for me. Just say the whole show for me. Yes, yes. You want to be taken care of like a child. Remember what they say. Women want, oh God, I don't remember the whole saying, but it said something like they want the respect and dominance of a man, the privileges of a woman, and the innocence or of a child, or the accountability of a child, something like that. So true. It's so true. Oh, which is a child's attitude. So, do you guys remember when I brought up that list of like bad traits for women? Was one of them was actually being spoiled brat, being greedy, selfish, entitled. What was the other one? Lazy, a gossiper, disrespectful, and always having to be right. She always needs to be right. There's going to be a whole fight in the house until you give in. And they call it like being a bitter woman as well. I'm not exactly sure what a bitter woman means, and I don't really know how a woman becomes bitter. But I saw that many people, especially coming on this show, have said that women become bitter because of so many years of dating, having boyfriend after boyfriend that break their heart and then they become bitter, right? Because we don't really have that much too much to have that much too much. We don't really have that too much in our culture, like that we have women who are bitter. Not really. Typically, if a woman is bitter, is like if she's lost her husband or she has children that are just that don't care about her or something. That's when a woman can become bitter. But no, bitter women, aka alpha widow. Window. Wait, what? I think you meant widow, right? Alpha widow. So an alpha widow is a woman that was with an alpha before and he left her, right? That's what I think it is. Isaiah says they can't pair bond. A woman scorned by a pookie. I know. This is just, oh my God. Okay. So I hate even saying that word, the pookie. I hate saying that. Because when I think about Pookie, I don't know why I think about Winnie the Pooh. Every time you guys say Pookie, I think Winnie the Pooh. I don't know. Maybe it's just the English, it just translates that way in my head, Winnie the Pooh. Wait. I see a question. Hold on, wait. So you said, TV Johnson says, so none of your women have experienced domestic violence. Okay. Domestic violence, I don't know. How can I say this? Domestic violence, right? In America, I've noticed that anything can be seen as domestic violence. So I've noticed that women have said even a man yelling at you is domestic violence. A man hitting a wall is domestic violence because it's making you scared. If you're scared, then that's domestic violence. If he insults you, it's domestic violence. Any kind of emotional what have you is domestic violence. And as for physical domestic violence, I've seen a man will push you and then they're like, oh, domestic violence. They call the police and the man gets hauled off to jail. So domestic violence, the majority of the time you don't see women just sitting there getting beat, that a man will just come home and start beating his wife just because, there are cases where you have drunkards. You have husbands who are drunkards or who have issues, who do that. But that's a whole different story. When it comes out to regular domestic violence, we don't see that very often in our community. You could argue that the domestic violence isn't so severe where it's leaving black eyes and all of this. You could argue that. Or you could say if there is domestic violence, it is not reported because we don't believe that police should be called in every situation. We believe that we can sort out our problems at home, you know? Um, you know, I had even shared with you all a story. Hi, Bella. Can I get you to give me a peace sign? Thank you. Thank you. Welcome in, girl.
Hi,
You know,
Ameera.
hi. So, just really quickly, I don't know how we got on this topic, but just really quickly to answer this person's question about the domestic violence, I shared a story back last year, around 6 months ago. And my story was that my husband, in the beginning of our relationship, I didn't know my boundaries and I was crazy and I was like yelling at my husband. I forget I think he left something in the bathroom and I was so upset that I had to clean it. I was just really irritated about it. And you just don't know when to stop, especially when you're just married. You haven't learned boundaries. And that my husband gave me a slap across the face to make me be quiet. He's quiet. And I learned my lesson that day. I learned and I was like, okay, that's the limit. Okay, well that's where I need to stop right there. Because then I realized, okay, when he gives me that look, that means it's time for me to stop. When I shared this story, people came and said, that's domestic violence, Ameera. What you suffer through is domestic violence. You are a victim of domestic violence. And I look at them like they're crazy because I'm like, how can you tell me that I'm a victim? I'm not a victim. If my husband, as they say, checked me, he set me straight for something that I was doing. How can you then tell me that I'm a victim, right? Do you think I'm a victim of domestic violence because my husband slapped me that day?
I don't think that you're a victim. I think that there is just a cultural difference. I don't think that, no, I don't think so. Not if you don't think so. I mean, and the thing is, it's like, how is somebody going to convince you that you are a victim of domestic violence? I don't get it.
Yep. But that's what it said. They said, because of your culture, you don't see it that way because you believe that this is normal behavior from a man. But let me tell you, here in America, we don't do these sorts of things. Men do not hit women. This is what I was told. This is exactly how they said it. I'm like, I don't believe in this whole like, there's no reason ever to hit a woman. Look, hitting a woman, oh god. All right, I'm gonna let a man in as well. Mr. Kulik, welcome. But I'm gonna say this really quickly about hitting women, okay? And I want us to get to the actual subject because I don't know how we got thrown off. But I'm sorry if my internet is messing up as well. Is it messing up a little bit?
It's a little blurry.
A little blurry? Okay. But when it comes to hitting women, this is what I believe. Oh god, this is gonna sound so bad. So if a man if a man has a wife, if he disciplines or something with his woman, is because he understands that his woman is able to accept that type of discipline. Does that make sense? That you're not going to hit a woman that is going to make things worse. There are some women out there, you cannot lay a hand on them, or you will make the situation a lot worse because some women will actually fight you. They will put on boxing gloves and say, bring it. So that will make the situation worse. So there's some women that are accepting of discipline from their husband or something like that, and they can understand and they're not going to take it this type of way. And there's some women you cannot touch, in my opinion. So in our religion, it does have a passage where it says that there's 3 steps to disciplining your wife. There is admonishment, which is talking to her first. Secondly, separate the beds. It does not mean leave the house, just separate the beds. And thirdly, you can beat her lightly. But it also continues to say, but if beating her will make things worse, then do not do it at all. So it all depends on the woman. That's how we see it. So
Yeah, I think a woman that would agree to that type of domestic discipline, she's already very submissive. So
right. Right. That's what I said. I think it depends on the woman. Because my husband, no, I'm not going to box with him. I'm not going. As soon as he slapped me, can you imagine? I start trying to box with my husband. No, 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 no. So, Mr. Kosher Clinician, can I get you to give me a wave really quickly? Welcome in. Mr. Kosher Clinician is here. Wow.
How you doing, dear? Can you hear me?
Thank you. We hear you well. Bella, what
job.
did you have on the topic? Did you want to speak on the topic or do you want to speak something else?
Yeah, I thought it was a really interesting topic because I never thought about that, like a dad being a simp. Like, I didn't even think that was possible. And I always grew up thinking my dad was very strict, and I always grew up thinking he was just like really mean and stuff. But he was teaching me how to be disciplined and how to be a good woman. So, and like when I was growing up, all the girls were so spoiled. And it just looks like that's how a dad is supposed to show his love. Just spoil her and let her do whatever she wants and let her get her way and stuff. So looking back at it, a lot of those young ladies, like you said, they are a little faster. They do kind of have like the attitude problem. So I thought it was a very interesting live stream. I never saw it like that.
You know, some people had argued a father cannot be a simp, and I argued the contrary. Yes, he can. Yes. He can simp for his daughter, and a lot of times you are raising the very thing that is making men's lives hell out there. You are raising it just because you think you're being a proper father by making sure your daughter knows that she's loved and she's cared for. That's all fine and dandy, but there has to be consequences and limitations to the generosity, as I just learned the word right now, the generosity and the privileges that she receives. Mr. Williamson, can I get a quick thank you?
And I also think that's why so many women have all these like high expectations. It's because their father told them to. They told them that a man should do this, that, and the third. So now you have women with these unreasonable expectations, and it's not because no one put it in their head, but their father.
That's right. Yeah, and then I have a friend who's 15 years older than me, or about 18 actually, and he has a daughter. And he said, you know what, I messed up. He said he taught his daughter to be independent. You know, go out there, get your education, which is fine. I'm not saying women shouldn't go to college or nothing like that, but I am saying that demonic feminism thing they do nowadays, or trying to be better than men, or basically a delete man. This is what's going on now. So he's like, he's created a monster. So I've seen this, and then I see these dudes that have these daughters that have been cheating their whole life and treating women like crap. But all of a sudden they have a daughter. Now she's the queen of the earth, and she should be treated like. And I'm like, it's so sad. And like the title is you have here, Ameera. Again, the dad is the first simp. I see a lot of these dads like these girls and their daughters do every and anything out here. Then I'm a millennial, but I got to deal with it. And I'm like. Yes. I'm like, this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. And then like, I kind of want to speak on this issue too, about the thing about being disciplined, or should the husband discipline the wife. I agree. It's cultural. I'm not going to hit no, my wife or whatever like that. Is there some chicks out there that I wanted to, lay a hand? Yeah, but I haven't done it. But it is a cultural thing. I can respect people's different cultures and stuff like that. But however, some of these women do need to be disciplined in different ways, because they are very disrespectful and evil. And last talking point, I'm gonna pass the mic here. When you're having, again, men can attest to this. When you're having these relations with these women out here, they want to be touched up. They want to be slap around or choked or whatever like that. I didn't do it. They asked me to do it. So I'm confused. When do you do it? You do it when you're going crazy. You do it when you're having relations. So I'm just confused.
What do you mean women want to be choked up?
Wait. What can you explain? I think me and the lady have a question for you. The women on the panel have a question.
Okay. So yeah, so I've had relations. I'm trying to keep it for this podcast. Relations with more than a couple of females when they wanted to be slapped, and choked, and manhandled and stuff like that. So I mean, it was acceptable then. That's so I'm confused. If you can do that, then how come I can't do it when they messing up or need to be disciplined? So you confuse some men. That is really what I'm getting at.
Oh my God,
it's all true.
I wasn't ready. I was talking about.
It's true. I don't like to be, all that. I just, hey.
I was trying to speak about just normal life, not Mr. Kosher Clinician. Please bring some decency.
Well, listen, this show is very, very timely. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Can you guys hear me good? But it's very timely, Ameera, because it more or less goes back to, in the clinical world, as a licensed therapist, we call it negative socialization, but also negative social conditioning. So I say this with firm affirmation that a woman can be, or a man can be, the simp to his daughters, to a daughter. You know, there are two types of simps that I talked about in the past. One is a conscious simp, and the next one is the unconscious simp. The unconscious simp, based on that acronym, stands for that he supplements irrational male patterns. American men have been, in my mind, neutered as men. They have been demolished as men. Their masculinity have been robbed. Because I did a show on my channel in the past called The Rise of the Fairy Princess. And The Rise of the Fairy Princess is more or less talking about what you're talking about, where the men teach their daughters to not respect masculine authority, but in essence, teaching the man to give to the daughter without respecting her to respect men. And so when a father's responsibility is to love his daughter within reason, but never to love her outside of masculine order and masculine responsibility. One of the things that helps a man become a very polished man is that when a man is able to more or less respect his inner sanctum of masculinity. In the Hebrew culture, the inner sanctum, or the sanctum, is where the Levites went. And that's that place, that holy place, to where in the Old Testament only God could go. But every man, Ameera, should have an inner sanctum. And so that inner sanctum is a place that no one can violate. And what a true, strong masculine father does, his role is to teach his daughter to be ready to be handed over to the masculine authority of her father. But we don't live in those cultures now. Because of that, we have a condition where the girls have been conditioned to not respect masculinity. So they come in with narcissistic traits, with a heightened level of entitlement, which in essence make them not fit to be viable wives. Women always talk about men protecting them. But what are you doing to protect him? Because if you're not protecting his ego as a man, then how can he fully protect you as a woman? Part of true masculinity is being able to respect and also protect the man. So part of the honor code is in protecting his ego. When you can protect the man's ego and do it 100% unequivocal, then that man becomes the best version of himself. But, we live in dysfunction as a culture. Dysfunction is normal. That's why we have so many conditions in our society today. And I say it succinctly that women by nature only respect power and strength. And like the brother Westside Cadillac is saying, he's correct. There is a percentage of women that like sometimes for men to say shut up or rough them up, not to hurt them, but it turns them on because some might say it's dysfunctional, but some women like for men to get rough and check them because it's in their hard drive. It's called nature versus nurture. And so I think it's in the natural hard drive of a woman to respect and look up to a man. I'm 6'6", with 6'5", 6'6" with shoes on. I'm very tall. And women have a genetic predisposition where they want to look up to a man. But when men have been conditioned not to teach their daughters how to respect masculinity, that man is not really protecting his daughter. I would call it paternal neglect. You're not protecting your daughter when you allow her to be a princess. Because what has she done to deserve the role of a princess? A princess is somebody that learns how to respect the order of the king if you go by, these idioms. So definitely the first simp is her father. Adam was a simp because he allowed Eve to violate his inner sanctum as a man. So this show is very important. It's very true. Until men stand firm in masculinity, until men learn how to remodify how they think as men, Ameera, they'll never get the honor and respect of that woman. That's why so many men are looking for women from patriarchal cultures where the women have been conditioned to honor and respect masculinity. This culture is not used to masculine men. That's why anytime masculine men speak up, you're toxic. Anytime masculine men speak their point, they'll say you're aggressive because they're not used to it. They have not been conditioned to see masculine men. Where 80% of our children being raised in single-parent homes, dysfunction is the new normal. So, what you're saying is very true.
Well, so I guess we can close out the show, guys. Thank you for joining us because there should be nothing else said. Thank you guys for joining us on this stream. We will see you next time. That was amazing, Mr. Kosher.
I appreciate
Thank you for breaking it down that way. That is quite the, and you went through so many levels that I don't even know where to address right now. Mr. Juan, can I get you to give me a wave, please? And Definite G as well. Can I get you to give me a wave? Mr. Kosher Clinician, you spoke something really proper to me because when you're speaking about there not being men here and women not knowing how to react, what I was saying when so many women, especially in this culture, come and say, the reason to have a man in the house, the reason to have a man in the household is that so that he can teach the boys how to be men and he can teach the girls how men should treat them.
Right.
I disagreed with that because I said, no, I think I lived in a house with my father. I don't think that my father taught me how men should treat me. I learned how to respect a man. I learned how to serve a man
Right.
because I served my father. I
Yes.
obeyed my father. I learned how to respond to the authority of a man
Right.
because I had to respond to my father when I came home. I
Yes.
live in the same thing now. I have to respond to my husband when I come home.
Right.
So it was preparation for being married to me because I have a man that I need to serve. I have a man that I need to answer to.
I agree. You won't get an argument from me. I agree with you 1,000%. But, you know, that's what negative socialization, that's what westernized thought has done. It's more or less derailed how women see men. And once again, with 80% of our children being born in single-parent homes, then they don't know what true masculinity look like. They don't even know what true masculine authority look like. And so a lot of men are going through what's called feminine denaturization because they have not gotten true femininity. They don't know what it looks like, to the point when men travel abroad, Ameera, they become very mesmerized. They become very hypnotized because they're dealing with women that have been conditioned to honor and respect men. The greatest thing that a woman can do for her man is to protect him by protecting his ego. When she protects him, she's going to get a lot more out of it because that man will go to war for her. That man will be willing to defend her at all costs because she was made for him. But we don't talk about that. We live in a society where women come in and thinking that, you know, that the man's supposed to serve her. But if you believe in the tenets of theology or Islam or even Judaism, it's not kosher, fit, or proper for a man to come into the relationship serving. She should come into the relationship ready to serve him so that he can turn around and serve her. It's a duality, Ameera. It's what I call a very symbiotic relationship where both benefit. But there's no benefit when the man is not getting his needs met. And I see it so many times in the clinical world where many men have been, neutered as men. They have been demasculated because anytime men speak up in America, it's seen as toxic. They don't have a voice. They're scared to speak their minds. And so you got a bunch of men that have been conditioned to be robots. And in essence, that's not really attractive to women. That's why women like men that will check them every now and then. That's why those same women that get mad at the men that speak up behind the scene, they're secretly lusting after those men because those men are owning their masculinity. It's nature and nurture. It's biological predisposition. And so we do a great disservice to our daughters because their daughters will never be protected. A father should always hold his daughter accountable. When I did the show, once again, Rise of the Fairy Princess, I was saying that, when that dad is not teaching his daughter how to respect masculinity, he's putting her in a state of peril. Because the daughter should be in a position where she's been willing to, when the father's giving the daughter away to the next man so he can be under his covering and under his authority as a man. But you don't see that here in America, Ameera, and that's why our communities are so dysfunctional. And that's why I said there's a lot of things that we have to do as a people until we can get back to that pinnacle of where we were in the past. I'm not against community revitalization. I'm not against it at all. But we got to look at the mental underpinnings that's causing the epidemic or the pandemic that we have now, sadly, in America.
I have to agree with you in so much. And people were talking about, like I said, the incident that I shared with everyone, with me and my husband. After the incident happened, that my husband slapped me. He gave me a slap, one single slap. That was it. After that moment, it wasn't just that my family was called. He called my father to talk about what happened, right? Spoke to my own father. You know how embarrassing that is? So for us, that's why I say if my father were my simp, my first simp, my father would come and probably try to wrestle my husband down to the ground and say, you can't hit my daughter. You can't do this. You can't. How dare you? She can do what she wants. You have to just speak to her. If my husband saw fit to handle the situation that way, then that's my husband. My father came to me. Instead of going to my husband, he came to me. What did you do? I said, well, I had to explain to him what I did, So this is why I say having your father, and I believe that fathers not being simps for their daughters is also creating that masculine wall for the family where the men stay together, the men are sticking together, and that makes the family stronger. because there's discipline, there's order.
I totally agree. I totally agree.
Mr. Williamson and Mr. Juan, what do you all have to say? Do you guys have anything on the topic?
Yes,
Go ahead,
ma'am.
Williamson. You were here first.
All right. Um, in terms of relationship with our females, I believe when you go into a relationship with the wrong expectation, you're always gonna get the wrong results. Men always need respect and obedience from their women, not love. Women is not conditioned to love a man. Man is to love women, not the other way around. But when women expect love and wants to love a man, that's where the issues is. Men don't need love from a woman; they just need respect and obedience in marriage. So I think that's one of the issues that we're having in a relationship. In terms of the fathers and simping for the daughters, in a way, but anytime that situation comes up, the mother have failed. Anytime that situation comes up, the mother has failed. So it's really women supposed to teach their daughters by showing how, by example of how they treat the father.
That's
So,
completely right, Mr. Williamson. In
but
the beginning, when I first came here, I gave the example. I asked my husband, did he prefer me to love him or respect him? And without a hesitation, he said, no, you should respect me first. You know, no
yeah,
matter what, respect should be there between the two of us. You should always respect.
but
So,
men are out here looking for love, and that's why the problem is.
mm,
And because love comes and goes with women, it
Right.
comes and goes.
Right.
Women love based on emotion. Men love, and they will stick with you regardless. But women love comes and goes based on how they feel. And men don't supposed to have that kind of emotions. So their love is always steady. And that's why they stay in the marriage longer. They stay in
Mr.
relationship
Williamson.
longer. But
You
when
can't say
you
that. You can't say that here. I had brought that point up before that I don't believe that women can love men the way men love women. I don't think that women are capable of loving to the extent that men love because men will give their life without hesitation for
Right.
a woman. Women don't typically no. They may say it, but when it comes down to it, that's not happening. Self-preservation is key for a woman.
Hmm.
For
but
men,
sometimes we need to say even if people don't want to hear it. And that's because we've been going along just to get along to protect our women feelings, especially here in America, and that's why everything is going out of whack. So sometimes they don't know what they don't know. Sometimes it's going to be hard for them to hear what they need to know because they're not used to it, but you still have to say it. They still need to know, okay, I was wrong. Maybe I really need to reprogram. Don't love a man because you cannot, you're not capable of loving a man. Men just need respect and obedience. And that's why I keep telling, and I'm going to repeat again, when you meet a man, don't worry about how he looks, none of that. Where he's going, his vision is what should attract you to a man. If a man don't have a vision, it's not going to work because then you are going to use your own imagination and provide a vision for yourself.
thank you, Mr. Williamson. Can I get the opinion of the lady? I have another woman on the panel. What is your opinion on what the men are saying? Do you agree? Do you feel that this is too extreme what the men are saying? Or what's your views on this?
Yeah, I really like what Closure clinician was saying. And to add to that, I also think that the root of it is that men are afraid of women and that men want the approval of women. They don't even care about having respect.
Right.
They just want the women to like them.
Hmm.
So as nothing is going to change if they're all stuck up a woman's behind, trying to get her to like them, trying to get her to just be all up on her. You don't have to do that. Like people will like you if you just like not care. So I think that guys just need to stop being pressed over women. Stop trying to get women to be like you, to like you. and just stop caring and have some respect for yourself. I think that's what it comes down to. Have some respect, and the women will respect you. I don't respect no man that's all up under me. I don't like that. I don't like a guy that's all up under me. Like he think that's gonna make me like him more. That actually repels me. So I just think the guys need to get some respect and stop being scared of women. That's crazy. A man being afraid of a woman? I've never heard that in my life. I think it's crazy.
So, Bella, when the men are saying that a woman should not worry about loving her husband, her man, she needs to worry about respecting that man before anything. Is this what you see is the proper way?
I think that's the only way. But the issue is, how's she going to respect you? You don't respect yourself. So, of course, she's not going to respect you.
So, you're saying the man has to respect himself first before the woman can respect him?
Yes.
I see.
But but you should never be involved with a man that don't have any. That's why I say start with the vision of where he's going. So you should never even be involved with a man to begin with that have not shown you any of those characteristics at first hand. You should not even bother yourself getting involved with that. It's not
What do
to
you
try
think
to
about
find out. It's not try to find out and then say, "Oh, I'm gonna take over," because he don't respect himself.
What do you
But
think
to
about
add,
this one? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry,
I
Mr.
was going
Gould.
to say to add what Bella said there. In college and even high school, you look at the psychology of men or boys, whatever you want to call them, when they're around a group of chicks. You got these guys saying, "Oh, these ain't nothing but fast women. I don't need them, whatever." But when they get around these women, they change up. They sell it their own best friend. There's some men out here that literally will set up their friend just to get a woman to smile at them. And this is what Bella's talking about. You have a lot of these weird dudes that just to get a blink or a smile or something from a woman, and they'll set up their friend. They'll sell their whole life out just for a smile. I mean, you got some pathetic, weird, insecure dudes out here. I mean, I've seen it multiple times. They change up when they get up. This is how you know you want to go into business or you can trust a man. If you bring them around, you go to a bar, wherever you guys go, bring your best friends or your new business partner to a bar around women. If they change up, you can't trust them. This is how you test a man. How they be around women. That's their true self right there.
Right. And it goes back to what I think E. Wilson was saying. He's correct. The love symmetry, Ameera, of a man is not congruent to the love symmetry of a woman. The love symmetry of a man is predicated on honor and respect. That's part of protecting his masculine ego. The love symmetry of a woman is predicated on the eros. It's called eros love. But eros is fleeting. That's why the great apostle Paul never told the woman to love her man. But he did tell her to honor and respect the man, because that's the love symmetry for a man when you honor and respect him. And
Mr. Clinician, what does eros mean? You said it's feeling. Is that it?
Yeah, eros is more the erotic love feeling. It's more about feeling. Eros comes from, when you think about Cuba, erotica. It's more the sensual form of love, but also it's the feeling. And so the woman is insular. Insular means she's within. When you think about a woman's biology, she has a vagina. It's insular, and she's made to receive. And you're correct. Most women won't give their life for a man because men do things based on principle. They don't think about it. Men, we do things based on pragmatism. So when you protect his ego, he's optimizing at his best. My friend Aguapo called it, a feminine amplifier. Well, I call it feminine oscillation, which basically means that the fan of femininity is being sprayed upon that man. But that man can't get that, Ameera, if he's not in a culture where the women actually honor and respect masculinity. And like the young lady Bella was saying, she's right. The dignity of a man is predicated in respect. The dignity of a man is predicated in understanding what his inner sanctum is. The inner sanctum of a man is not predicated, Ameera, based on feelings, but it's predicated based on principles. Principles is not fleeting or more or less whimsical like the feelings or the fleeting notion called love. You should never marry a woman based solely on love. Love should always come first, but you should love her within reason. You love a woman in reason to the responsibility how she respect you and honor you as a man. And when she can control her emotions, Ameera and Bella, and to the ladies that are listening, when a woman can succinctly control her emotions, then she's willing to actually love that man. She's in a better position to love that man because she's not a slave to her emotions. If a woman is a slave to her emotions, she cannot adequately love a man. So she got to be able to control herself, do discipline in order to protect that man, which is his ego. Once she protects that man's ego, he's going to give her the world. But it comes with a mutual exchange, because in fair exchange, there's no robbery. And so many men defer power because they don't demand anything. But women actually respect men that hold them accountable to some degree and more or less demand respect. Because then she can have somebody to look up to.
That's what I was trying to point out as well, because in the comment section, when I gave my story, I'm looking at the comments. I see women saying, oh, Ameera, a slap can lead to this. It can lead to more. And this, when you marry a man that he has character, strong, good character, and he does things on principle, you're not going to have a man who is out of control, who's going to say, oh, well, I slapped her once, I can kick her tomorrow. Or, I did this, now I can punch her in the face because the door has been opened. No. Right. My husband has never done anything to abuse me. Right. Never. What happened that day was a situation that it was based on principle. I was wrong. So, just expecting men to do like this, it's like, it depends on the man that you're with. This makes me understand that a lot of women have not seen men who have this character or discipline, who do things on principle the way Mr. Kosher Clinician is talking about. When my husband saw a need for something, that's what happened. But it's not like, he abuses his power over me. My husband doesn't abuse me at all. I'm not an abused woman. So thank you for pointing that out, Mr. Kosher Clinician, because like I said, the principle, you have a man with principle. And this is why you have to trust in your man as well. Right. Mr. Rick Judah, can I get you to give me a wave, please? I don't know what's wrong with Definite G's internet. It keeps going in and out. But Mr. Judah? Maybe he can't hear us. All right, I'll wait for Mr. Judah to give me some signs of life first, and then I will let him in. Oh, there he goes. Okay, I got it. There you go. Welcome in, Mr. Judah.
Yo, what's going on? Peace be with everybody. Peace be to the 12.
Thank you.
How y'all
doing?
Thank
you so much. Doing well, thank you. Do either of the men who haven't spoken yet have anything on the topic? Mr. Juan?
Yes. So 2 parts. I wanted to give a story or an experience that I've had regarding the topic, and also to piggyback on the conversation you guys were all having just now. So in regards to fathers being simps to their daughters, I've experienced, or not myself, but I've seen actually back in high school, this is well over 10 years ago. I don't know if everyone remembers the social media of MySpace. This was during that era. I remember once I was friends with a girl on that space, and the reason fathers being simps to their daughters, not only is that a hindrance in their ability of having a successful relationship, it also, from what I saw, gives them a sense of like superiority over other people, especially over other girls. And the way that I saw that was, I remember she made a post talking about how that all the girls in her school are jealous of her because they have to all be in school to learn, while she is doing more important things like shopping with her daddy's credit card. So not only is her dad not having her daughter going to school to learn and get an education, which is something that they've been wanting, they've been fighting for, but she's out, spending her dad's money shopping, and she sees that as like like, I'm over everyone else because this is what I can do and this is what you have to do. And so I thought that was crazy. So when you came up with this topic, it reminded me of that. I was like, let me chime in and give that story, because I think that's also something to consider.
Thank you so much. That is so, yes, that is very crucial. That's what I explained in high school, where the girls had everything that they could ever want. But it's almost as if no man could live up to what their father does. So any man that they tried to marry or get in a relationship with was always compared to the father. It was like the father always came first over the man. And no man is going to be happy in a situation where not only is he fighting against other men to get this woman, but now he has to fight against her own father and be compared daily to her father. The sickness almost.
No, it's crazy. And also just to add on to the to what you guys were talking about before I started speaking was, I believe that in terms of how the dynamic between men and women loving each other, I think men love idealistically, women love opportunistically. men love idealistically, meaning pretty much say, you're a man, I'm a woman, we're going to be here for each other, we're going to be together and go through life together through thick and thin, and for that I'm going to love you as you are always. A woman loves opportunistically, meaning first, can he protect me, can he provide for me, and can he give me parental investment? If those three things are part of what this man brings to me, I will love him for that. So I think that's the dynamic or the difference between how men love and how men love a woman and how women love a man. So
Bella,
that's my take.
Bella, what do you think about that kind of situation of with I want to be like say it properly. When you have men and women that are in this kind of situation where the woman is putting the man that she's getting with, like in a future relationship, she's putting him against her father, always comparing to the father and putting the father first. Do you see this commonly in women?
I think that's a very chaotic and almost sort of manipulative situation, in that she's doing that because she's not getting the man to perform how she wants him to. So what she'll do is she'll hit her partner or her fiance or husband against the father in order to get him to perform. But she's just creating chaos, and it's very manipulative. I think it's very sad.
So she's trying to push him, essentially. She's trying to give him motivation.
Yes.
That's what that is.
Yes, I believe so.
Mr. Judah, welcome in, Mr. Judah. I saw you on my last video. You were speaking about my last topic from last week, and thank you for actually showing up today. What do you have on this topic, or is there anything else you wanted to address from last week? Because I'm open for last week's topic too, because that was quite the topic.
Yeah, no, I'm actually sad I missed it. I had a lot happening. But I guess I'll first start off with what we're talking about now.
Bella, I need you to mute yourself.
Yeah. I was like, what's going on?
Bella? Okay, there she is. Okay. Good.
All right. For a second, I thought it was me.
No.
But the first thing I want to say is going into the topic what y'all talking about with the fathers and the daughters. I think it's a fine line, because I do think I have two daughters. So I do think, first of all, that I'm going to be my daughter's first hero. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be it's a standard that's going to be set, because at the end of the day, I'm the man that's going to be coming to deal with them that doesn't expect anything in return. You know what I'm saying? A lot of men come in with it's got to be this. Obviously, marriage is an exchange. Don't get me wrong. But there's got a man that's like, he's got to want her. He's got to actually want to deal with her and not be like, oh, I just need this from you. You know what I'm saying? There has to be character involved. What I'm saying, there needs to be a man of principle. And I heard cultural clinicians say that, a man of principle, which that's one big thing. That's why I'm into the scriptures. If the man is not into the scripture, he's not a believer. He doesn't follow the scriptures. He doesn't even want to follow Christ. That man has no chance. It's not even going to be a discussion. He can step his way. You can step in the name of love off a cliff somewhere. I don't really care. Not dealing with my daughter. But what I'm saying is, if he's doing these things, got principles, cool. And they're going to see, because again, at the end of the day, I'm going to do everything I can. You know, if my daughters need stuff, I'm going to give it to them. I'm going to try to keep them happy. I'm going to try to make them happy, but it's not going to be at the expense of their character. When it comes to, if there's bad behavior, it is not going to be rewarded. All of that I'm willing to give you, I will take it in a second. Give me your TV, your tablets, it's by the time they get old enough for phones, give me your phone. Give me all that. You know what I'm saying? There's going to be consequences, and there's going to be good consequences when you're doing right, and other ones when they're doing wrong. And on top of that, they're going to see respect for a man. They're going to learn that. They're also going to see that through my wife. So when my wife deals with me, she knows if she steps out of line and gets disrespectful in front of the children, she's expected to apologize in front of the children. Go tell the children you sorry for talking to your daddy like that. You know what I'm saying? Go do these things. And it's not even a discussion. I'm not even gonna be like, oh yeah, we're gonna go back and we all hugged up and kissing and lovey-dovey. Nah. Go back and make sure the kids know you repented. You know what I'm saying? You turned away from your foolishness and you get back on track where you're supposed to be with me.
Accountability.
So, yes, exactly. Accountability is a big thing, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I want to give my wife and my children the world. And then when the next man comes up He's going to understand he's better live up to a certain level, but it's not going to be a I'm first. Because I'm gonna teach my daughters, hey, you get up, your husband's gonna be first. He comes before me. By the time I'm teaching you to become wise, I'm teaching you to be submissive, teach you to serve the man, because the man is over you. That's no question about that. That's what's gonna happen. So they're my princesses. That's my royalty. Nobody better not deal with them in a certain way. But and also, by the way, too, they're going to be given in marriage. That ain't going to be none of that. And I do want to tie this into last week. I just want to touch on it.
That's what I was thinking.
And tying it into last week, when we was talking about the whole the value of virginity, it's straight up, hey, you don't let that go. This is because I already know in your prime years, your prime from 20 to 24, by the time you're ready to get that marriageable age, you better be pure, untouched, and and you're gonna be in shape. I'm sorry, my daughters ain't got. I go to the gym a lot. My daughters are going to the gym every day. Y'all get out and run. You know what I'm saying? Y'all get out and do this stuff. At the end of the day, you're not about to be 300 pounds thinking you about to get you a dude, 300-400 pounds, telling about, yeah, I'm gonna get. No, you can get the bottom of the barrel. And I'm sorry, because you don't see, and I don't want to hear people talking about these exceptions, but you don't see these top dudes that can get the best women. They're not going for the Lizzos. You're not checking for them.
No.
I'm sorry. No. It's just not happening. You know what I'm saying? Even me,
myself. Don't speak about weight, because Mr. Panderson is going to come. He's going to pop up pretty soon. If you start speaking about weight, he always says 276 pounds or something like that, 279 pounds.
Man, yeah. I don't want to offensive lineman. That's because I'm married, but it was always it was no go. It was never on the table. And again, I've never been the dude to make this whole $100,000 a year. I never been that dude, but I also know that there's many women that gonna desire me, so I ain't worried about. I'm not about to. I gotta go get somebody that can put 3 fingers in the dirt in football, that you can push me back. You know what I'm saying? In the offensive line. No, I don't want that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want that. If you can keep Aaron Donald from getting to the quarterback, you're not my woman. You're not. You know what I'm saying? You're not my woman. My so tying back into the virginity thing. I'm sorry, I got off track. Virginity.
Just a little bit.
Virginity, because I was mentioning value, because again, value is going to be, the weight goes into value, and a lot of times, that it is what it is. We come through looks first. Looks get you in the door. You know what I'm saying? Looks get you in the door, and then now your value. Now, how many people you done been with? How many bodies you got? Well, virginity, your value is through the roof. You know what I'm saying? You might get you a millionaire. You know what I'm saying? Because men are looking for that stuff. You know what I'm saying? And again, my daughters are, they're beautiful now. Little girls are going to be good looking, women. They're going to have men that's going to want them. They're going to be untouched. They're going to be pure. They're going to be submissive. I'm definitely afraid of giving my daughters away, because I see most of the men on YouTube, by the way. I be seeing the dudes in the chat a lot of time. I mean, not just this chat, I'm talking about different chats. And I see how they talk. Oh man, most of these dudes is garbage.
Mr. Judah, you must stay in the culture. Stay in the culture, and all on character and principle, just like Mr. Closure Clinician said, character and principle. Stay in the culture, whatever. I don't know what your religion is, but I recommend trying to stay as close to that as you can. That's the way you're going to find good husbands.
It's not an option. They're going to be keeping if they don't keep the commandments, if they don't follow the laws of God in the scriptures, they ain't even on the table. So, and again, that goes back to also, they're going to understand the value of virginity, because people in the scriptures say, marry a woman that has marriageable age and a virgin. You know what I'm saying? Get you a woman ain't been touched. And that's nothing against women that have, laying with people, because I heard the conversation Thursday. I wish I could have got on it, by the way. But anyway.
Thank you, Mr. Judah.
Can I say something real quick?
Yes, please.
If a woman has been with multiple dudes, she got multiple men she's following. She's following this dude that knocked off last week. She got on this dude that knocked off 2 days ago. The other dude from a month ago. She got all these men she's being dominated by. You know what I'm saying?
It's like Bella. It's like, I can't.
It's just a problem. Nobody wants to deal with that stuff. So when you got a woman that ain't been touched, she's completely gonna be stuck to you. She's stuck to you. She's gonna follow you to the ends of the earth, because you're the only man she's ever known. She's gonna follow. But I'm sorry, that's the start off. Anybody got any pushback or any comments, man? I'm gonna need to be quiet.
Mr. Judah, thank you so much. I appreciate that. We got to get that Mr. Definite GM pretty right next after Mr. Judah. But Mr. Kulik, I understand that you wanted to say something.
I think Williamson did. You were trying to say something, right?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
okay.
Okay. Rick, really, what you said is really, really beautiful. I don't have any daughter myself. I actually just had a conversation with my wife. We have 2 boys, and I said, "There's no way they are gonna marry. They're not gonna be involved. The daughter or whoever it is, because it's gonna be my daughter. Once my son get married to them, that's why they call it daughter-in-law. I don't have any daughter. That's the one thing that I told my wife too. Don't worry about any girls because my 2 sons are gonna bring us 2 daughters later on. So we are going to be involved with all that. So you have really, I understand how you want to raise your daughters, but your wife is the most important thing in these pictures. You have to communicate that to her that this is the like the setting goal. This is like this is what I want from my daughters, and let her teach that to your daughters. Because at the end of the day, if they don't respect you in the first place, they won't even let you know who they're dating, right? Let alone you knowing who they're going to get involved with. Once your daughter respects you, they will always come to you. Okay, this is guy that's trying to highlight me. Go talk to my dad first, right?
Right. Right.
And now daddy will do the vetting.
Mm-hmm.
Once, like Ameera says, when it comes to her husband, everything that happened, that's how it used to be. Because she respected her dad, that's why that worked.
I agree.
That's way they can also extend that respect to their husband when that time comes. So that's why I say it really is for a woman to train their daughters. It's really for, and the man to, that's why men pushes their sons to be the provider, right? To be the protector. That's the only thing we're supposed to teach our men. Don't worry about, getting girls right now. Focus on getting ready so that
Right.
you can provide for your sons and daughters, as well as your wife when that time comes.
Thank you,
And
Mr. Williams.
with respect, they will all like
Thank you, Mr.
your
Williams.
children always respect you by coming to you or try not to do something that will bring shame to you. That's when you know your children loves you and respect you. Nothing else will shows that they respect you. When they say, okay, I can't do this because this will bring shame to my dad
Right.
and my mother, that's when they respect you.
I agree,
Nothing
Mr.
outside of that.
Williamson. I believe that's one of the highest honors that a parent can receive is when their child comes to them and is ready to get married and they trust you to help them in that process. I see in the comments we have a Muva says virginity is a man-made concept, and I don't really
Right.
understand what you mean by that because virginity just means that you have not did the deed yet. So how is that man-made? I don't know.
That
The main
is
twerk
the
is
oddest
It says
comment
what's
I've
her
ever
name?
seen.
It's a lot of
Just look at the
demonic
word.
feminists out here. That's the problem. It's a lot of these, and I'm gonna say it's a lot of hurt, demonic, weird, insecure, special ed, mentally unstable, mentally retarded women out here that this country hasn't actually studied yet. I'm talking about these women are
Exactly.
literally diseases. I'm telling y'all that are mentally ill. And there's an article I need to y'all need to read. A lot of these women are suppressing this information on these girls too. A lot of these women are going through these public, private, and charter schools that have these known mental conditions that these women are suppressing because they're women. They don't want to be held back. So this is one of these fools right here. I'm gonna say it just like that in the room, running their mouth, causing a havoc in the relationship ecosystem. Then a man's got to deal with that. And then she's done set up a man. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The same ignorant, jealous devil, just like that around here, we need to get rid of. And men, you got to teach your sons to have a list and know how to vet these women because this is the problem. These women are messing up the whole ecosystem. It's not men. These helpers right here is the problem.
You know, I almost wonder if she was just trolling or if it was actually what she
It
thinks.
has
I'm
to be
not
a troll.
sure.
I think
Mr.
it's a mix
Definite
of
G.
both.
Mr.
Because
G.
she said, saying her name is Twerks. I mean, let's first understand her name is Twerks.
First red flag.
So you already see her mind ain't right. Second of all, I seen a comment she said earlier and was talking about Lizzo wouldn't even deal with you. Like, what? Like, you know what I'm saying? So when you see that, like, okay, you obviously delusional. You know what I'm saying? Obviously. So, I mean, it's just and this ain't really just about speaking about her, speaking about that mindset of women. Like you said, we got a lot of women that's kind of just completely mentally messed up, but we've been brainwashed. And I've said before, a lot of men hate when I say it, but most of the men are simps. Like this thing says, the simp raising daddies. And them simps a lot of times wasn't even there to raise their daughters, because that's a simp move right there. Not even raising your daughter. So you're not even teaching your daughter nothing. So you ain't there doing nothing. Or even if you don't live there, you still ain't teaching your daughter nothing. So now your daughter's gonna raise up to be this monster because you was too weak to actually get out here and make something happen. Twerking never did anything to you. But never mind. Anyways,
she's having fun. I think she's having fun, guys. I don't think that she's serious. I don't know. I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt that she's just joking around. It's just fun and games.
Yeah.
Mr. G.
And I give the thing, men created this monsters. At the end of the day, the men created these monsters because these men ain't did their job.
Mr. G, I've been trying to get you in for a while, but I haven't. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Yourself, Ameera?
Thank you. I'm doing good. I'm doing good as well. What do you have on the topic? Have you encountered a daddy's little princess in your time, or have you seen it happen?
Actually, my father was like that with my sisters. It was all about, make sure you get yourself together, make sure you, focused on, getting your life together, getting yourself together. Don't worry about, dudes. Well, the thing is, I do say this with all due respect to fathers. It's that fathers, their emotions cloud their judgment when dealing with their daughters, because, they want to protect them. They want to, provide the best future for them. But they do that through ignorance. They don't really understand how women work or how women are supposed to conduct themselves around men. So when they're, really trying to get their daughters together, when they're really trying to, build a future for them, they're actually, harming them. They're actually doing things that's going backwards against their own femininity, if they ever even know femininity in the first place. And also, it's also on the other flip side of this as well, that he's probably also trying to protect his daughter from dudes like him, because he was a player back in the day. He was knocking them down back in the day. So now he's trying to protect his daughter from dudes like himself. So he's going to be even more protective. So it's more about like he's being erratic when it comes to the development of his daughter, and he's moving through ignorance when it comes to raising his daughter to be, suitable for a husband, or at least, if he even knows that he's doing it in the first place. So it's like it's ignorance. At the same time, it's like very emotional. That's a lot of emotions going on. So yeah.
You brought up so many good points that haven't been brought up yet about this emotional and fear and men doing this because they were the men that they're talking about in the past. So this is what I talked about breeding the very thing that men are hating and trying to get away from. You're breeding it. Can I ask the panel this? You all men, I want to ask you this. Is it possible that when a man does this to his daughter, when he how can I say, when he simps for his daughter, he's making her masculine instead of making her more feminine? Because Definite G brought up the point that he's trying to protect her, which we would think would make her more feminine because she's protected. But in a lot of ways, it seems like it makes them more masculine because they almost feel like they don't need another man because they have their father. Does that make sense?
I was talking about that earlier. Like there's a guy I knew at this gym, and he raised his daughter like that. He said, get your education, get your PhD. You don't need a man. He tells me now she's miserable. Yeah, she's got 2 BMWs and one single family home or whatever. But it's like, okay, what is her purpose in life? She's just a slave to her work and all that. So this happens all the time. These men simp, and it like you were saying, G. these men that all this cheating and stuff and all this scamming on women, and all of a sudden they get a daughter. Now women they're the queen, the mother of earth. Now they're all this kind of crap. I don't want to hear that. I can't stand these men have these daughters. They become these simps and these weirdos and talking about men do this and it's their fault. If anything, like I said today, different time. And today, because I'm a millennial. I don't know what y'all on here, but today it's women's fault and problem. That's not me pointing the finger. That's nothing like that. That's what it is, because we gave women a choice. We gave these insane, mentally unstable, ill women a choice. And now you see what's going on. Now we need men to come back to force here. Do we got to be cavemen? Maybe. But what men got to do, what men y'all got to do, you got to vet these women. You're on these dates. You have to have a list. Okay. One of the things you need to ask, how many partners? Have you had an abortion? Have you been married? You know, you need to ask these questions. If they start asking, well, what about you and all this? Cut off the neck immediately. Move on. Next.
Would you not go straight
I think
to
it's
her?
more.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead,
I think it's more the masculinity part. I think that's more instilled, because I don't think, I mean, like, to eat, like, every woman's different, like, you know, biologically, you know, chemically and stuff like that. But I don't think that, you know, women are more masculine if her father is a simp. I think because he, again, wants to protect his daughter, he instills that masculinity. He treats her like a dude. He treats her daughter like a son. So instead of treating her like, you know, a woman. So he tries to raise her up. He thinks he's trying to, build his daughter up. He thinks he's trying to, build her into a woman. But in actuality, he's coming from the male perspective. And in my opinion.
It just, I don't know. When I see this, it's so confusing, because I never even thought about this point of, like, how does a woman behave as she gets older? Does she behave in a more feminine way because she's been protected by her father all her life? Or does she behave in a more masculine way because she's been given everything all her life and she's never had to earn anything? She just expects the entitlement, expects the world to be handed to her on a platter. Mr. Cook, if this is you, can I get you to give me a wave really quickly, or a thumbs up or something, and then you can get off camera again. I'll bring you up. But this is why I'm asking you. I don't know. I don't know.
I'm sorry. Oh,
No,
I believe it's this. I believe it goes into, as you said, it ain't really the men protecting their daughters. It's more so them giving them that false empowerment, them never checking them saying everything you do is good. Yeah, actually, it's the man being, like I said, a simp man is actually a woman. I mean, and it sounds bad, but think about it. Women today always talk about they want a partner. Well, a partner is usually what you refer to in a homosexual relationship. So if you got two of the same thing, we're partners. Hey, we're both women, and really she's really the dominant one. So you got a woman, and he's going to be saying everything you do is good. What are you seeing when you have a single mother household? You usually got everything the children do is good, no matter what it is. Second place trophy, participation. Yay, good job, child, for coming in last place. You know, guess what you got when you got a masculine man, a daddy? He's like, nah, you got to do better than that. You got to do better. So
yeah, they say it's unacceptable.
Just like in the scriptures, it said, if your father had spit in your face, it don't literally mean spit in your face. He's talking to Miriam, because she came out of her place coming up against the man. He said, if the father spit in your face, we wouldn't be dealing with this right now. What he's really saying, if your father would have checked you, if he'd have told you, sit down, be quiet, stay in line, she would be another way. There's going to be accountability. There's not much accountability. It's just, here, you get everything the world's given to you. And you use the word, Ameera, entitlement. You got a bunch of entitled monsters running around. And then the men they just allow it. They allow it, and they just keep running with it. And they're like, yay, I love you, just because you got a big butt and you got a pretty face. Like, no, you got to do something else besides that. What else
can you
do
to get along?
What else can you do besides make it clap? But what you got to be able to do something else besides that. You know what I'm saying? And these men are not even requiring more of them. And that's why I said a lot of these dudes be capping on her. They be like, yeah, tired of these women. Man, as soon as one of these women give y'all attention, y'all gonna melt like putty. Y'all gonna be like butter in her hands. Y'all really ain't about what y'all be saying. Even a lot of dudes that even say they got wives at home really ain't about that. You go back into the ranch, you're gonna see who's running the house. because you really ain't got masculinity. A simp daddy is almost as bad as no daddy. It's kind of like right neck and neck with it because he allows all the foolishness. But again, this is like, we can say we gave all the women all this power, we gave them all of this stuff. And I was just gonna push back on a little bit of what, because I agree with most of what you said, West Side Cool. Most of the stuff you said, I 100% agree with it. But as far as the part is, it's all, you know, the women got to fix themselves. The men haven't still fixed themselves, because if we would be making the women follow. If we really fix ourselves, we wouldn't even be complaining about these women that are useless, because we wouldn't even pay attention to them. They'd be invisible. Just like a man with no money is invisible to a woman. These women that got that loud, yelling, unsubmissive spirits, they'd be invisible. We wouldn't even notice. Oh shoot! Oh, it's a pretty face. So I know how she is. She's a hoe. Nobody would deal with that woman.
You brought up a good point, Mr. Judah. The fact that she having this simp father is almost like having no father, because yes, even though he's there and he's giving her what she wants, it's no. What's the point of a father? Is discipline, structure, rules, regulations, standards, shame. Fathers bring shame to the home. You're supposed to be ashamed in front of your father when you have done wrong. You're supposed to be ashamed to come home with a third place trophy. You're supposed to feel ashamed that your father has to see you carrying a third place trophy. You should come home with the first place. You should be the best for your father. So when there's no dad, there's no shame. And it's just like the simp father. The simp is still there. He is your father, but he doesn't bring shame. He doesn't bring discipline. He doesn't bring
one thing to add to that?
the regulations and the rules that you need. So yeah, it is almost like not having a father.
And please don't, I hope everybody don't get mad, but simps, and I hate kind of went back, but simps don't really fully love their children, because if they did, they would bring shame and correction. Right. So a lot of people get mad. Oh no, yeah, you can't say black men don't love their children. Majority of black men are simps. So majority of black men, y'all know the rest. Y'all get
Is it that they don't love, or they're not sure that the simp father is what I mean? The simp father doesn't know how.
Somebody, you're gonna stand up and you're gonna give them the right direction. You are not gonna fall back because you're afraid to lose your woman. A man afraid to lose his woman is a woman.
Yeah, and I'm gonna add on to Rick said, and you kicking knowledge, brother. You know, much respect to that. And I hate to say it like this, but most so-called black men are black women. This is why, if you look in this community, this is why this stuff is happening. You know, I was taught, I was taught how you assert yourself around women. Again, they're not your be all end all. Again, this is your person in your life that's supposed to add on a positive balance in your life. She's not supposed to be the queen of your existence in life. A lot of men go through life thinking that. A lot of men don't even know this knowledge we're talking about now till they get in their 40s. Mm-hmm. I'm 35, been known this. So, you talk about these Gen Z people now, they don't know this. They think it's cool, like this health in the room, the twerks or whatever. And whether she's trolling that, it don't matter to me. There's real women out there that's like that are younger than me, that are living their life running game on men because they don't have a father or a good mother or a balance in their house. So to tell them, hey, these kind of women you do not impregnate, you don't marry. Them kind of women you don't pay attention to. If you do play with them, you play with them a certain way, but we would say don't do it. But I'm just saying, like, this is my opinion, Rick. You know what I'm saying? I agree with you 100% too. I'm just saying, like, again, we didn't let these women do whatever. And they have messed up the whole ecosystem of dating. I mean, they've set us back.
Right.
I'm just being real.
Can I get Mr. Cook? Oh, after Mr. Definite G, I want to get Mr. Cook to get in if he can. Go ahead, Mr. G. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I even wanted to add on, because Ameera, you kind of already said what I was going to say, that like the simp father doesn't really understand like his daughter. He's actually assuming too much. Like he's assuming that he knows what he's doing instead of like actually trying to understand how he's supposed to teach his daughter, or how his daughter is going to be conduct herself in society. So the simp father, he assumes that, I could just have this, one size fits all from the daughter to the son. But that's not the case. Your daughter is not your son. Your daughter is your daughter. So that's where, a lot of simp fathers, with all due respect, kind of run into, is that, they think they know what they're doing, but in actuality, they're harming one without really fully, teaching the other.
Thank you, Mr. Cook. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's fine. We forget one thing. Okay, Cass was talking about how women was ranked. We forgetting that black women got this stuff from white women back in the early '60s and so I'm a little bit older than you guys. I'm those who are 50 probably know this. They got this stuff from white women, and what they see on TV and when they heard and what they learn in school they got that stuff from white women. We didn't allow them to do anything because we were never in charge because white women told them that you were in charge. Women were in charge. The women that was why it was the women's movement. That's why the lady Miss Muhammad wrote that book, Black Men Guides to Black Women. And you read that book, she explains everything that black women was learned everything from white women. That was their mess. That was their anger, and we took on it because why? Because black women wanted to be like white women, the house, the car, had a better life and everything. How it was raised. They're learning from their downfall, their mistakes and everything, and they took it and ran with it. And look at us now. We look at the laws. Look at how men raised in schools and everything. They want to make laws that told you like welfare and food stamp. You don't need no man. We government can take care of you and raise you everything as long as you don't have no man head of house. They took that idea. So we were never in charge of that. We had it in the 60s and the 50s during the civil rights movement, and somehow we let it slip out of our fingers. And they took over and ran with it. Now here we are 20 years there, we're paying the consequences for it. And now we got gay white folks and that crazy stuff telling you that Adam and Steve is more important than Adam and Eve, or it came on and stuff like that. And in schools and recommend and how we tell men who's the one telling people that masculinity is not good? White folks who create pornography. White folks, female white folks, porn stars and all that crap. They came that stuff white folks. We lost track from that. And you wonder why?
Mr. Cook, you think that wait, so are you saying that white people are
white feminists?
Okay, white feminists. That white feminists are the ones that got minority women.
Yeah, got in the head of women that you need, and because we won't be like you. Because remember, women want to be like, who's top of the food chain? If white men are top of the male food chain, who's on top of the white female food chain? White females, they're top of the food chain. It's standard beauty, everything is. The blue eye or whatever like it is standard beauty. And that's why you see women with fake hair and fake this, fake that. Why? Because they want to be like that. And he took it and ran with it. Ran with it to time of the 60s and the 70s, and like I said, and we are aftermath of this. Look at the home. Like I said, majority of women are the head of the household. Now, you can't. What?
Is this okay? Does this have anything to do with the fathers? Does this have anything to do with
fathers? Because they kicked the father out because they've been told that you don't need no father at home. They told that he ain't good, he ain't this, he ain't that. And that's where they stick into their head, so they pass it down generation. If you go to a church at school, who we see in majority in church? Black women, because they trying to get praise, trying to get forgiven, because you don't see black men in there because they ain't told, in the head, you ain't nothing. In the head, and it passes on every day. You see it every day in school. Now, 20 years down, all this stuff you see in Hollywood, Me Too movement, and all this stuff that women are bigger and stronger, and they can do everything they want because again, it's in their head and it's growing and growing and growing, and we can't do anything about it because they never want us this. And
does anybody have anything to respond to him, or does everybody agree?
Yeah, I got some.
I agree with some of it. I think there's some truth in it.
And we can't and look at the laws. I work in law enforcement. I used to work for it, and we got laws today which take women 100 times better than take men. We all know every woman in this room, every woman in this country get called rape. And both federal, state, and local government, we go after you no matter what God.
Mr. Cook, please be careful with that word.
Okay, that word. Regardless what. We can't do that. You wonder why men or kids are in foster care a lot of boys are in foster care today, and a lot of them don't know they have fathers. I don't know their kids are in foster care. The laws of the land are trying to today make sure that men are second-class citizens. They're trying to take them off the top food chain, and it's still going on to this day. And
Hey,
nobody.
Chief Cook, can I ask you a question real quick?
Go ahead.
Because I know you said that you know, the feminist movement and white women started it, and black women followed, which did happen.
Yes.
But do you think that it was already inside some of our black women to want to follow something that sounded good to them?
No.
So you think they put that
back
thought in
in the
their
day,
head, and so you think it was never in our black women to want to go against us?
No, because back in the day we was church going. You know, we watched Good Times and family. We was down to the family. We was God fearing people. Husband, wife, everything.
I disagree with that. I heard you.
Back to back. Remember, well, we depends where you are. Because remember, New York, upstate, and then from the South. I'm from the South, so so it's different from how
from the
black
South
people
too.
was raised. Now, from like I said, from the South, like I said, we were Bible Belt. We believe in God. We believe in family. We believe in working together. You know, and put the up north in California. It's all that stuff started changing, and they started bringing it down here and bring down south, bring down to the South and everything. That's what I'm saying. You never seen women down here, especially in the South, preaching talking about no, we don't need each other. You know, we were strong together. It just we let it slip through our fingers because we let it spread.
Mr. Cook, I think I understand what you're saying, and I agree with you a lot of what you say. Some of it no, but most of it I do. But the thing is, that's not part of the topic that we're speaking about tonight.
Okay.
You deviated to basically what we typically talk about, which is men and women not needing each other. But what we're talking
I'm
about
getting out of
today,
there. That's what I was trying to get out of it. That's what I'm trying to say.
I think she's trying to see if it's like, okay, how does that translate into men being weak and not raising their daughters the correct way?
Thank you, Mr. Judah.
Yeah, because they're even taught in school and taught in everybody in general thing that men are beta and women are alpha now, and you see that in the school system, you see that everywhere now today's, and more is separating that part that women don't need men and men don't need women, especially athletes and people making 9 figures and stuff like that.
Mr.
You know
Cook.
what?
I'm sorry, Mr. Cook.
I'm sorry. I don't go over.
I don't think you understood the topic of today. That's okay. That's okay. Maybe you came in a little bit later. Maybe you're not understanding what we're speaking about.
But what I was trying to say is they see stuff on TV and stuff like that, and they spread it out. Okay.
Mr. Cook, I appreciate it. I appreciate that. But that's not the topic. But that's okay. That's okay. I understand where you're getting at. The topic today is about fathers simping for their daughters. So basically, the topic is when a father is a simp, how his daughter ends up growing up under the reign of a simp father, and the detriment and the problems that comes with it for the child to grow up and eventually be a wife to another man, and she's grown up this way. So this is what we're speaking about.
Okay, my bad.
Mr. Cook. It's okay. It's okay. It took me a minute to realize that you didn't understand what we were talking about.
Yeah, I did. I caught it. I did call it in the middle of my bad. So, but I think fathers are more absent today more than ever. Like I said, especially when it comes to teaching our daughters to be women, to be wives like that, because they don't see it. Right. They don't see.
Mr. Cook, that's not what we're speaking about, though. I'm not speaking about that. I just wanted to. Anyway, it's okay. It's okay. Maybe I can get anyone else to answer really quickly. This will be our last question, and then we can close out for the night, I think, because we're at the 2-hour mark. So yeah, we can close out after this one.
I'll say something real quick.
Okay, what's the question?
My last question to you is this: when we have the type of woman that we have that has grown up under this system, my last question that I had in my list was, how do daddy's princesses do in marriage and relationships? Now, I understand that we addressed that some of them may be more masculine because they feel like they don't need a man because of their father. Some of them might. Well, none of you has said that they'd be more feminine, because you guys said that the femininity goes out the window with this type of relationship with your father. So what does a woman look like in a marriage or a relationship? The woman that has grown up this way, what does she look like?
Oh, well, prime example. We can look at Will Smith and Willow Smith. Willow Smith. I don't know if y'all know. She's an artist. She's a actress or whatever you guys want to call her nowadays. And I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna say it like this. She grows hair out of her armpits. She's an extremist feminist. She's extremely masculine. She's gonna take over the world. She can do everything men can do and all this kind of stuff. And I'm sorry, I gotta say, when you have the father's there in a relationship, but Will Smith is a big simp. And you see how he placates to his daughter, and you see how off balance.
He's the prime example. Example.
Yes, psychologically crazy he
I'm
is.
surprised nobody brought up that example. That is such a good example.
I didn't think about it for a moment until he brought it up. No, that's a prime example.
Yeah, Willow Smith.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, she's great. One day she's this, one day she's gonna get with an animal, one day she's gonna get with a woman, then a man, then a cat, then a dog, then it's again, the father's there, but he's not there, like Rick said,
So can I ask you some, Mr. Kulik?
Yes.
So is it possible that men are afraid to do anything in the house because of the law that has been put in place? And that's why they have to simp, because they can't be a strong man in front of their daughters to show what a strong man is supposed to look like, because they're afraid of losing out on their daughters when the woman say, I don't want to deal with this, and then up and leave. Is it possible that men are not really simping, but they really can't say anything?
It's possible.
Because it goes back to the woman being the teacher and men being the corrector in the house. Women are supposed to teach the children, men are supposed to correct.
I mean, well, never. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm
glad you said that, because
no, it's true. It's true. But the whole thing, and again, men on this panel know this. I don't want to preach to y'all, but the whole thing about being a man is to die for your cause. The thing is not having the most money, not having the most women, not being the most clouded person online. The thing is
people
to be
disagree with you there.
Well, that's what a man is. And, if you got to die for your cause to show your daughter or sons, okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is what a man is. This is how I'm going to structure my household or my community. That's what we're supposed to do in life.
What cause?
You said what cause?
I'm with you 100%. Keep going. Keep cooking. Hey, because the food smells good. Keep cooking.
Somebody said
I
what
can
cause?
also give you another example.
I'm just curious. What cause you talking about?
Oh, Chief Cook said that. What cause? So I would say, for me, I don't know about nobody. I'm talking about me. For me, my cause would be, okay, I want to be able to create how I live my life in terms of how I make my money, how I eat my food, what kind of women I'm going to be marrying, what kind of car I'm going to be driving, how I'm going to cultivate this land out here in terms of how I'm going to feed myself, the crops, how I identify myself, what true race am I am, you know what I'm saying? How do I dictate my history? That kind of cause right there, Chief. Okay. I can do many more, but I'll keep it short.
Okay. I
can give you another example.
Hey, real quick. Sorry, Chief. Hold on. Hey, even when he said a man is going to die for his cause, the cause right here we talking about is being a father, is instructing and leading your children. So if you're willing to die for your children, your woman should not be in the way of that challenge. You should not be afraid of losing your woman, because it's like, oh, that's my wife, she's my world, and if I'll lose her, man, to hell with that. No, if your wife is stupid enough to leave, a real masculine man is willing to die for his daughter, then she's stupid and she don't need to raise your children anyway. You don't want her teaching your children. So no, yeah, you willing to step up and die for your cause. And there's many other causes, like obviously protecting them with your life. But yeah, the raising up your children who is going to affect your community. You're going to, because then your family's going to be straight. Other people going to see your family. They're going to be like, I want to emulate that. That's the cause that you want to set. So you want to expand that. So yeah, if men ain't willing to die for the cause, and I'm talking about not just I ain't going into that, but we better be willing to die for something that's greater than ourselves. If we ain't willing to do it, which most of our men ain't, then we not men. Again, we're women.
I've seen a lot of people saying that dying for your woman is simpish, and it's like, yeah, dying for a woman that's not worthy of your sacrifice, of course. Right. But why aren't there any men? Well, I mean, I understand you guys are saying it's fine, but why isn't there more men and women agreeing that dying for your family, the woman that brought you children, the woman that cares for you every day, if you did have to be in that position,
not been raised
Ephesians
to.
5, Ephesians 5:25 straight up says,
not been raised to.
you die for Christ. I mean, Christ, you die for your woman just like Christ died for you. So if a man is not willing to die for his woman, that man is not a man. At the end of the day, how you gonna have a woman that's because she's your possession? You willing to die for yours? My wife belongs to me. You know what I'm saying? My children belong to me. What kind of man am I to let somebody come in and take her as a spoil of war? Or even no, hell no. Yes, I'm dying for her. Any man that's saying they're not dying for their wife, that dude is a B. You already know the rest. What kind of dude is that? So yeah,
Well,
you
he was
die
not
for your woman.
raised.
That's not
That's the
selfish.
problem. He was not
Yeah,
raised.
let me
That's
give
the
you
problem.
let me give you
Hold
another
on,
example.
let me finish. Hold on, one more
Yeah,
thing.
let me give you another example.
Hold on, Chief. Hold on, Chief. So what I'm saying is, if you're willing to die for your woman, then she's going to also see that, hey, I'm gonna follow him to the ends of the earth because I know he's gonna protect me with his life. Obviously, if dude somebody I ain't dying for any woman, well, you know why you ain't? Because you getting weak ass women. If you choosing weak women because you suck as a man, then that's on you. We're talking about these women are terrible. No, your women are terrible. I ain't got them problems.
But
I didn't
hold
have them
on.
problems.
That's
Y'all
true.
had them
All right,
problems.
wait.
Y'all,
Let me get my point across. Let me get
go ahead,
my
bro.
point, and then you guys can rock. I'm gonna give you another example. Dwayne Wade, perfect example. He let Gabrielle Union destroy his son. Like
Oh
I'm
my
telling you right
God.
now, he just
Oh
let
God,
her.
yes.
He let her destroy his son. Like I'm telling you right now, in the next 10 years, you're going to see the repercussions of what he allowed happen to his son. I'm telling you right now. Give it
We
a
already
few
see it.
years when he starts to
That's why I just said
realize.
earlier. Who
Yeah,
raised them? Who raised
yeah.
them? That's why I
When
said
he
earlier.
starts
Who
to
raised them?
when he starts to realize what happened in his household, he's going to get shocked. Like, what the hell? Like, he has no idea or clue because Dwayne Wade allowed Gabrielle Union to brainwash his son. So he is
But how do you know?
confused,
How do you know,
upside
Hey,
Mr.
I give you
down.
another clue. I give you another clue. Magic
How do you
Johnson.
know?
I give you another clue. Magic Johnson and his wife. Look what happened to his oldest son, Magic Johnson Jr. Look what happened there. Who raised Magic Johnson Jr.?
These
Both
dudes
gay.
pick whack women.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Wait.
Magic
My
Johnson
question to
Jr.
the panel, guys, how do you guys know that the woman is the one who's responsible for that? How do we know?
Well,
Because they've
Gabrielle
been taught. They've
Union
been
said it.
taught women
She said it herself.
Come the head of trouble.
What did
She
she
said it
say?
herself that she said, like, she doesn't want her household to be all this, gender stuff. She said it herself. She said that she doesn't want that household to be this whole separation between men and women. It's going to be this whole fluidity. That's what she
Hey,
said.
hey,
Okay,
So
make you one
she's
quick
just,
question. Hold on. I'll make you one quick
Hey,
question.
hold
What
on,
state she live
even with
in?
Magic Johnson.
Wait.
Johnson's wife.
Hold on. What
Hold
state
on,
does
I
she
was gonna
live
say,
in?
Magic Johnson's wife used to actually give the boy Barbie dolls when Magic Johnson was on the road. So that actually she said that on camera. So all right, go ahead. My fault, Chief. Go ahead.
Okay, what state she live in? Gabrielle Union. What state she live in?
That don't matter. That don't matter now.
No, yes, that is.
California.
She
Thank
can
you.
live on the moon.
Exactly,
It don't matter
California.
now. It matter
Yeah,
now.
but a woman is a woman. It doesn't
California.
matter what state.
And what California do? What California is made of?
That's anywhere now.
Go to San
That's anywhere now,
Francisco.
sir.
Yeah.
That's anywhere now, sir. That's anywhere. California.
I don't
Texas,
believe.
New York.
She worked in California. I'm saying that where she got herself idea stuff from in California. All that stuff came from California. If she living down here in the South like that and had that strong family and God like that, she don't want to be like that. They got
No,
stuff from
that's not the
California,
case.
Hollywood,
So,
and
Chief
like
Cook.
that. And same way as Magic
No,
Johnson.
Chief Cook. I'm talking to her. Let me tell you what the problem is. Dwayne Wade had a wife before she met her. He sabotaged his own marriage for the sake for his crush. He makes sure he fabricated a lot of lies against his wife and had the California court to prevent her to interact with her own kids. And when he married his crush, she run the household,
Right.
not him. And the thing about her, she had what they call the over extreme westernization ideology. Now, the fact that the real mother could not intervene and stop the brainwashing because of the court system in California, what I find it very stupid. How will you do such a thing? That woman was there for you from thick and thin. Then you decide to cut her off because you want to go after your own crush. This is why I had little to no respect for Dwayne Wade. If his
Right.
house fall, it deserves to fall and destroy. I could
Right.
care less about him. But guess who did the same exact thing? Kobe Bryant. End of story.
Mhm.
it's
What?
gonna like everything's everything's gonna just it's gonna come to a head in the next few years. Like everything's gonna come to a head.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know all of this. I swear I did not know. I mean, I heard people saying that this is what brought the devil into Mr. Wade's house, but I didn't know it was
Yeah.
her. And I didn't know that he left his wife to go to her.
Ameera,
It wasn't
you
her.
also know
Can
that
I, can I say this real quick?
Ameera, they also
It
know he
wasn't
put a
her.
gag order on
Look-
her as well, not to say nothing about it. And one
Oh,
time she did an interview before the gag order came through, and they asked her about it, and they say that it was all planned out to make sure she had no interact with her two sons.
She didn't. You know what I was thinking? Because that was not her son, right? Mr. Wade's son is his previous. Maybe she didn't. Oh my God, I don't want to say that. You know, I'm not going to say
Yeah.
it. Mr. Judah,
no,
what were you going to say, Mr. Judah?
I was just gonna say it wasn't her. And what I mean, when I say it wasn't her, I mean it in its context. Like you said, he left for his crush. It was somebody that he was physically attracted to. It was what he was going. That is the formula for a simp. Just get allured by looks and body. What a weak ass man to do that. All these women look good. So like, okay, that gets you in the door. All right, now what you gonna do next? You know what I'm saying? You gotta have something else after that. She's not submissive. He said, "Hey, I'm gonna tell you to stop drinking," and she said, "Nope, that don't work for me." she straight up told him, like, "No, I'm gonna keep drinking, and I'm extra." And then she said, "I'm friendly." Damn, I'm friendly. Like that's code word for I'm a hoe, I'm a slut, and I be on all the dudes. Like, come on, man. Like, so let me get back on track.
Well,
Main point I'm saying is, these things, when you choose that type of woman, then you're actually opening the door to destroy your family. And they actually villainized the mama, the mama of the first children, and they made her seem crazy. Of course, part of the agenda, we already know that. They made her seem crazy, made it seem like all this. It was really like, no, she didn't want her little boy to be doing the foolishness that he was getting set up to do. And she probably his little boy seen his daddy just getting punked in the house all the time. That's naturally going to make the boy be like, oh, okay, let me cower to the woman and say black woman is God and put her on a pedestal because I'm weak. Or
watch them video. She said,
and it's gonna empower the women to be like, yeah, give the women big muscles. They're gonna be standing there, yeah, I'm so strong and I'll run the man. Man, I'm telling you, he destroyed his house again. Right. That's why I say I don't really want to keep hearing all this talk about the women. Our women are crazy. We know if our women, any woman. If any woman's with a weak man, she's gonna run him over. I don't care who it is. If it's not a man that's gonna check her and put her in line, she's gonna run all over him all day.
And that's what I'm trying to talk about, because what I've been doing, I'm an IT specialist. I'm a nerd. I keep information to my head for the longest. Even though it's 20 years ago, I would still remember. Because what I don't understand with this, everybody knows the California judicial system is crazy. And he realized what he can do, so he pulled those strings. How you going to sabotage the woman who's supporting you from the ground up? Then when you get to hire or to study, or you want this girl, so you got to make a false narrative. Make your wife look like she was crazy in the middle of your two kids, and you do California court to make sure she had no custody right to see her kids. Like,
absolutely, I know
California laws. Are you really serious? Which loving ass mother will let another woman brainwash her own son to do something that he's not born to be?
Right.
We'll talk. Then what I had issue with certain celebrity.
Yeah.
Kobe did the same exact thing. If you know about his wife, she was a fling that he met on a photo shoot that he got pregnant. And then when the mom found out, they threatened Kobe's family. Either you do something about it, or we would let everybody know she was underage. So guess what he did? He left his childhood girlfriend for that girl.
Yeah, I was going to say that she was
a lot of people don't pay attention to information.
Right.
I do. Same thing with Kanye West. Kanye West signed his own contract. You should know already Kim K was for the street. That's why I say Kim K is a 0.5 in my eye. If any black brother say Kim K is beautiful, you need to get a brain check.
Yeah, and remember now, she won't allow him to see her kids. That was like
wait, Kim Kardashian is not beautiful?
No, I'm just saying no.
Didn't Kim K divorce?
Wait, naturally? Are you guys saying naturally?
In my view, if it's not natural beauty, it's disqualified in my eyes.
Oh, okay, I understand. It's not natural.
That's what I say. She's a 0.5. I said it.
She don't look good to me. Y'all, I don't know.
And remember her sister.
5 minutes.
Okay, her sister, I think it was Coley. Was they the other basketball player? What's her name? I forgot what her name was.
Tristan Thompson.
No, the other one, the other
Forget
one.
the
Lamar
whole
Odom.
family. Forget the whole family.
Yeah, the
If
whole
you look
family.
at the track record,
You talking about
Yeah,
Lamar
every
Odom?
man that
Yeah,
was in
Lamar.
that family
Look what she
didn't
did.
do too
She
well,
took his whole.
except
He
Reggie
took a whole
Bush.
country.
Yeah, but you know what that is, like similar to what Rick is saying, is men that don't know how to conduct themselves and carry themselves as men. That's why these kind of witches can conduct. And again, they're witches too.
Right.
This is why they can conduct and omit that demonic feminism on it. That's why they can put
Right.
that spell.
Did
This
everybody
Yeah.
forget Reggie
Right.
Bush? Did
Yeah.
everybody forget Reggie Bush who dated Kim K when he won the Super Bowl and he tried to use his moment for reality TV? He shut it down, and after he shut it down, he break it up with her because he realized who she was, and he wasn't gonna have that in his life.
Right.
So he escaped. Everybody else went downhill.
Exactly.
This is the reason why I say what I say.
That's what I was talking about Lamar. He didn't want all that stuff. He wanted a simple life, and they destroyed him. He destroyed everything, and all that pressure on drugs like that. I think it was just pressing that drugs because he got in that man. All that
No,
stuff.
before Lamar Odom,
Yeah.
there was Ray J.
Yeah. No.
Then
I'm
there's Chris
saying.
Humphrey.
Right.
And then a
I'm
couple.
talking about
Also,
She got married. She got married a couple of times before
yeah,
she met Kanye.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Man,
She's
she's
been
just
full of
yeah.
shit.
lying.
Also,
Mother
But
lying.
she's no problem with
TLA.
that
She
though.
Shout
had
outs to him.
army.
Yeah,
Right.
TLA. Shout outs to him. He had Suzette Speaks on his show, and then she explained. She said that my father raised me to be a career woman, to not focus on a man, not be strong willed and headstrong and stuff like that. But then she's like, yeah, she can't find a dude because she can't keep a dude. I mean, like she's
Can't
she
control
was so
dudes. That's for sure.
headstrong, and that was what her father taught her, and now she's struggling in the relationship department. So
We're
yeah,
not
Can
fathers
I
of mother. We're
can
not
I
fathers
ask
of
you guys
mother.
this? Kim Kardashian and her sisters, was their father a simp for
Yes.
them?
All
Yes.
Jay.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
yes,
Wait.
Mm.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was not the simp. He
Robert.
was the alpha simp. Get that
Yeah.
corrected.
Well, no. Wait.
That's an
Robert.
oxymoron, man.
Robert.
So is this where we
No,
have
no,
what
no.
we
I
have?
know he's the
Wait a minute.
oxymoron, but
Robert
he's
was
with all the
alpha.
simps. He knew what was going on.
Yeah.
His wife was cheating on him, and he
Right.
knew about it, and he did nothing about it.
Wait.
Oh
Also,
yeah, and I gotta make this
don't
point.
forget
I gotta
OJ
make this
case
point.
now.
Hey, Chief,
Go ahead.
Chief, you're in law enforcement. I gotta make this point though. And I've done
Yeah.
great research on this. OJ did not do it.
Yeah, I know that. But I know
Nor did
that.
his son. Nor did his son.
No,
Nor
I
did
know
his
it.
son. Okay.
Well,
Wait, I
that's a long
disagree.
story.
I
That's
Study
another
the
story.
Mezzaluna restaurant.
I'm
Study the Mezzaluna restaurant.
I know the story. I know that. But let me get my point. I'm just saying
disagree.
was that after he lost that when the case came over, OJ case, that destroyed his life. Because he didn't get case and everything. That did part of it. And remember, she had an affair during the case. We doing OJ case. She had an affair, and when he came fame, all that fame that came on him was too much, and people couldn't get no cases because he was attached to OJ. Then he went downhill. Then he went downhill on
But here's
stuff.
my thing. How will you shake hand with a man who slept with your wife behind your back, but he wasn't the first one, he was the second one, and you were okay with it? Explain that to me.
Mm-hmm.
OJ didn't do it.
Yeah.
That's all I know. OJ didn't do it.
I understand. I
disagree.
don't care, but when I'm saying that Kim
Strongly
Kardashian father was the
disagree.
ultimate simp. One of the guys in the chat says simp supreme. I agree
Well,
with that.
well, he didn't do it, but you know somebody, who did it, and that's no stream. But
Well, you know what it was? She had a drug problem, and she had a
yeah,
drug.
exactly.
Oh,
I know what
Right.
I'm saying.
So somebody,
Hey, y'all about to go all
study
off
the
topic
What
with
I'm
this,
saying
man.
is,
No,
Yeah, I
no,
mean,
no.
but that's
We
a
are
whole nother
not
stream.
having conspiracy theories here,
Yeah.
guys.
No,
I want to
not
thank
doing
you
the
guys.
conspiracy, but
That's
what
a
I'm
whole
trying to
nother
point out is
stream.
this.
No, I want to
There's a
thank you
track
guys for
record
coming
of
on.
women
Yeah,
who want
Mr.
to run the
Canadian.
relationship
yeah,
and want to be the head of the house when they're not supposed to be the household. And when men allow that, that household is destroyed. Either you like it or you don't.
right. And we and
Guys,
a lot of
I
men
really
today.
gotta close down. I have to
Okay.
close down now. I want to thank you
Okay.
guys for joining me, and thank you guys for taking me off topic completely, but that's all right. Thank you guys.
Now,
We
what if
went
I
into
take you off topic? I was
OJ,
just adding.
the
Winston, I'm gonna
Kardashians.
contact you. One
No,
side.
what I was saying, I'll
I'm
give an
contact
example
you.
because society
But
found their example and they want to be the same exact thing. It's not just Kim Kardashian doing it or Gabrielle Union is doing it. There's other women as well who are doing it. Nicki Minaj, no different. She's doing it. There's a trend that's been going on out there whereby a lot of men are not trying to be men and trying to keep their household in check. The women keeping the household in check. So it's like a total opposite. So when
Yes,
society sees something and want to mimic it,
thank you
what you
Yeah.
think
guys
gonna
so
happen?
much. I want to thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Bye, guys. Have a
Okay.
good night.
Bye,
Hey,
Have a
sis.
good
all
night.
right. Peace be with
I'll
y'all,
contact
man.
Winston. I'm gonna
Thank
talk about
Y'all
that
you.
have a good
OJ
one.
thing.
This was fun.
Yo, shalom to the 12, man. Shalom, shalom.
Yeah, peace, brother.
Thank you. Good night, guys. Have a good
Night.
night. Bye-bye.